Welcome to Hebrew Words in Scripture. This is lesson 50. We're going to look to see why penmanship is so important and has been for thousands of years. We're going to look at the word riblah. So one day I'm reading along in the book of Ezekiel chapter 6, and I come to verse 14, and it says, "So will I stretch out my hand upon them and make the land desolate, yea, more desolate than the wilderness towards Diblath, in all their habitations, and they shall know that I am the Lord." So I'm thinking, well, I don't know what Diblath is, so I think I'll just look it up. So I look in the concordance, and here's the word Diblah, pronounced Diblah instead of Diblath. Notice the difference between the H, the hey, and the TH, which would be a tav. It's a place of the fig cake. Well, that's interesting. A place near the wilderness. It says probably an orthographical error for H7247. So I looked up orthographic, and it says that it's just simply a change in spelling, maybe putting in two E's instead of one. So I go to the 7247 and find the word riblah, and it says it's a specific place. It's not just near the wilderness. It's a place on the eastern boundary of Israel, a town in the land of Hamath. It goes on, it says it comes from an unused root to mean fruitful and fertile. So it's a specific place. And I see the difference between the two is the difference between resh and bet, and that's not just a simple letter change. So I think there's something more going on here, and let's look at these letters more closely. Here's Diblah, Dalet, Bet, Lamed, Hey, and here's Riblah, Resh, Bet, Lamed, Hey. And when we compare them top to bottom or side by side, we can see the differences are more precise. The Resh and the Dalet, it's hard to see that the Resh and the Dalet just were interchanged or changed orthographically. I think it appears in the penmanship, and if you notice, the Resh does not have the little tail on the end of the top line that the Dalet has. And so it's very easy with an ancient manuscript to either have miscopied or to have made a letter that's not quite as precise as it needs to be, and it was not showing was showing a little spot on the curved part as opposed to no spot, which would have been riblah, but it was interpreted as diblah. I believe that it is somewhat miraculous that there are not more of these types of errors or differences, as we might say. When you consider the faded character of some of the manuscripts, when you consider the possibility of wear and tear, changing the ink that was put on the page, or even just mistaken penmanship, where the penmanship was not accurate enough to reveal the actual identity of the letter exposed. I've got to point an example. The point here is I'm reading along in my 1960 printed version of the King James, and here in Proverbs 29:19, it talks about a servant, and it says, though he understand, but look at the he. Notice that we have the letter H, or is it an H, or is it an I with a dot over the top? And then there's another little speck there in the corner. This is in a recent printed uh, copy of a book, a Bible. So the question in my mind is this word he with a funny dot, or actually two funny dots, or is it the word lie with a bridge on the H and an extra dot for some reason or other? My point being is that it's a miracle that we've got the Bible in the form that we've got it in. It's understandable, and penmanship has always been important, and it still is important.